Today I want to show you a pretty simple trick for adding a sun flare to a photo to give it a nice fantasy style effect. This video is sponsored by the Ultimate Gel Photography and Photoshop course. Go to learngels.com today to learn more about the best gel photography and Photoshop course available on the planet. Hello, my friends. Thanks for watching in advance. Hope you're having a great day. Today I want to show you a pretty simple trick for adding a sun flare or a flare in general to a photo to give it a nice fantasy style effect. Okay, so I posted this recently in a new Facebook group that I joined, and one of the people who commented asked how to add this effect on the left. Everett Christopher haces videos de YouTube de cómo se hace esa iluminación naranja del borde. Está muy bonito, siempre cuadra con el bokeh. Which translated is, Everett Christopher, do you make YouTube videos of how that orange edge lighting is made? It's very nice. It always fits with the bokeh. So I told him I'd go ahead and create a video for him and others who are curious about how to do this. I use this technique and this effect very often. Here I used it very lightly on the left-hand side. You can barely see it, but it is there. In this photo, I added it a couple times on the left and in the right. This is kind of an older photo, but I used it behind the model to create a sun effect behind the model. And this is a more recent composite that I did where I used it to create the actual sun and then add some beams of light coming down. But it is definitely very effective for recreating sunsets. But let's go back to the example here. So basically all you do is create a new layer. So I'm just going to reproduce what I've already done here. Let's go ahead and turn these off. So let me create a new layer. All right, and we're going to select our brush. And we're trying to mirror or mimic the effect that a sunlight would have potentially on the photo. Now, granted, it's a little unrealistic because we have a hotspot here. So you could make the argument this is coming from a light, maybe a light stand that I have on the left. That would be more realistic. But again, we're talking about making this kind of fantastical. We're not necessarily sticking to reality here. It's to give the photo a special effect, to make it fantastical and magical, and that's the idea. So physics doesn't necessarily apply here, but what I try to do is make it as realistic as possible, if that makes sense. I want it to be magical, but I'm trying to find a balance so that it's not so overwhelmingly unrealistic it just looks bad. You're going for beauty here. Okay, I'll shut up about it. I think you get the point. So new layer. All right, and we're going to switch this to hard light. Switch that to hard light. We're going to go to our brush. We're going to go to the color here, and we want to choose a color that mimics the sun. So a good starting point, because we can adjust this color later, and I'm going to show you how. So a good starting point is just to set it to red. Okay, so we'll go ahead and make our brush pretty big. Make sure your opacity and flow are maxed out at 100%. And the idea is to kind of dab right here, and so we'll dab right there. Okay, that's what we get. So now I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to delete the contents that are within it. The only reason I duplicated is because I'm lazy and I didn't want to create a new layer and select hard light again. So you can create a new layer and just set it to hard light. Okay, so we got our second layer. And the idea here is to bring our brush down in 100% opacity, 100% flow, and we're going to create a hot spot. That's what this next one is. So you won't see a difference if I use red. Let's change it to blue. This one won't matter what color you're choosing. Let's choose blue for now. We'll dab right there. Okay, now here's where it gets fun. We're going to change that blue to white. We want it to be a hotspot. So a very easy way to do that is on a Mac, Command U with the layer selected, Command U, on a PC, Control U, and that will bring up a hue saturation dialog box. And what you want to do is change this lightness, max it out. Take it all the way to 100 and click OK. I could have also just used a white brush here since we're going for pure white. We want to do the same thing to this layer, except we're not going to max out the lightness. So let's do a Command U on the red dab that we put earlier. And we're going to bring the lightness up a little bit. Okay, but this is where the color is a problem still. We have red, unless you like this. But for me, this is not realistic. I want to make it a little more sunny. So what I'm going to do is move this lever to the right because I want to make it orange. And this is, some people have questions about this, how this color spectrum works right here. This is where it's a little weird, and Adobe could make an update to this, but truly what this is, I'm dealing with the color red. So this pointer right here, this slider, right now it's on like a cyan. It really should be on red because that's the color that we're using. But Photoshop is basically colorblind, and they haven't really built this as an enhancement yet, but it really should be on red. So when I move it to the right, you have to envision where this slider is starting red. If I move it to the right, it will start to become orange. If I go further, yellow. See, right there is where the cursor is. If I move further to the right, green, which is right about here. So on and so forth. You get the idea. If I go all the way to the right, you'll start getting into the cyan. And then the same is true if I go to the left. I'll get more magenta, and then purples, and then blues. Okay? And the cursor at this point should be over here, or the color represented is over here. Okay. So anyway, we're going to go with orange. So we're going to go with more of an orange sunny color. Something maybe right about around there. Okay, and then we click OK. Now let's look. I think in the original I went a little more subtle. I didn't go as heavy-handed. In this example, when I first did it, I went a little more pink-red, and then here I'm a little more orange. So that just goes to show you your mind is a fun thing, and will change how you perceive things over time. Your preferences change on a day-to-day basis. It's a really fascinating thing for me to have learned about myself. When I attempt to recreate some of these things, it's pretty neat. But anyway, yeah, maybe I went down the same road I'm going now, and I started orange or yellowish, and I was like, you know what? I want to make that a little more red. Okay? But anyway, this is how you do it. And then from here, this is your personal preference. Now, what I try to do is keep it as realistic as possible. I'm trying to add an effect that the sun might have on this image. It adds to the flair and to the beauty and to the fantasy aspect of this. And so it really comes out really nice. And I find that clients really resonate with this style. They love this. They want to be exaggerated. They want the scene to be dreamy and fantastic. And so this might be a tool that you can put in your toolbox now to help achieve that. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope that helps. Continue to have a great day and keep creating, and we'll see you next time.